Nuno Espirito Santo is out, O-U-T, out at Nottingham Forest, and our boy, Ange Postecoglou, makes a triumphant return. Did Mr. Marinakis get this right, Jules?
I don't know, Gab. Time will tell, obviously. If
Would you have sacked him for Ange Postecoglou? Let me turn it this way.
Yeah, so the sacking, I understand. There's Edu now who obviously Nuno is not his guy. He's arrived in a lot of jobs, not just in football, but when a boss arrives, he usually brings his own people in, which you can understand. So there was always that side of it where Nuno was never Edu's guy. They didn't really get on. And at some point, Edu will want to bring a guy, as we say enough on the show, that your sporting director and your manager and your CEO have to all be on the same line for things to work out at that kind of level anyway.
And your owner in this case.
And your owner in this
most
case.
importantly.
Exactly, most importantly. So I can understand the sacking. It's for Nuno, it might be harsh because he had a great season last season where they overachieved, where they didn't play really good football, but they got the result. And to be fair, if you're Marinakis, you probably at some point in the season expected more than a FA Cup semi-final defeat and a 7th place in the league, because you were, for most of that season, in for a top 4 finish. And considering City's struggle last year, you could have seen your team beating them in the FA Cup semi-final and reaching the final. So I think at the end of the season, Marinakis was disappointed by how the season finished and the last 6 weeks of the season already. Is Ange the right call? I don't know. It's certainly, in terms of extreme style of football, from what Nuno built to what Ange will offer, this is the case. So we'll see.
I just going to say 2 things about this. Even before Edu arrived, I mean, we know who right. There's a background to this, which is 2 very powerful intermediaries, advisors in Kia Jarabshan and George Mendes, who are behind this, right?
Yes,
and they're
absolutely.
kind of taking turns having influence over the club. This is very obvious. Just look at the
Everybody
players.
knows it,
And we know Edu is Kia's guy, and Nuno obviously is Uncle George's guy. But put that to one side. It's a formula that people have criticized, but it's working for Forest. And it's undoubtedly worked for Forest thus far.
Yeah.
After what Nuno Espirito Santo said, and the local media reaction, clearly briefed, right? Mr. Marinakis had no choice. I can't have a guy.
But then Nuno said that because he knew this was coming, right?
But you know what? It's a chicken and egg situation, right? You can say it's coming, but you can do it with some dignity, or you can go and crap over Mr. Marinakis and leave him no choice. And then, oh, look, he looks like the big fat weird, bad guy again for the 10 millionth time. But you know what's happening behind this. You know what's going on in football because you have access to Uncle George, who knows everything, right? And you know that, hey, look, Edu's there. Oh, what's Edu doing? Am I aligned with Edu? Come on, I didn't like that. I didn't like that from Nuno. But look, he's showed he can do a job in the right circumstances. Maybe do it somewhere else.
And for Ange, first game for Forest away at Arsenal. That's it for you. On Monday, we talked about how Julion's comments on the Nico Jackson deal at Bayern. Gab, you have some follow-up.
Yeah. So first of all, apparently I misread, and I wanted to issue a correction on what he actually said. When he was saying the fee was actually 13.5 million euros because the player and the agent gave up money. He meant 13.5 million is what it cost Bayern, but Chelsea obviously still got the 16.5 million.
Yeah.
And he was somehow weirdly trying to defend the deal, making it seem as if Nico Jackson is a 1-year rental. Now, what I've been told, what he's talking about is this, which I think is even more absurd and demented. So roughly speaking, Nico makes about 7 million. I'm going to do this in euros because how it was told to me. 7 million euros at Chelsea. Bayern did a deal where they would take him on loan and they would pay him with bonuses, between 10 and 12 million for just 1 season.
Right.
And then obviously they also worked out a deal with his intermediary. I'm assuming probably 2-3 million. But they didn't want to pay they did not want to pay the 16.5 million euro loan fee. So they got Nico to say, all right, rather than the 12 million, I'll take 10 million or whatever, to shave some of that off.
Yeah.
And they got the intermediary to save some of that off. And Uli presented it like, haha, look, we're so smart. I mean, no. The guy's coming on loan. You have all the leverage. Why do you have to increase his salary to 10 to 12 million?
That's true.
For 1 season? It's such a weird thing. The bottom line is Chelsea still get their money. So if you're a Chelsea fan, you're happy. But this just speaks to the dysfunction at Bayern right now and the situation between Uli Hoeneß and Max Eberl, the sporting director. I don't think this is what Max signed up for. But then again, he should have known.
Yeah.
The Camp Nou will not be ready for Barcelona's home opener against Valencia on Saturday, Jules.
No, it won't be, Gabi, which we kind of like, it's big news because...
Don't laugh at Laporta's
But
pain.
we knew it was the case. So instead of playing at Montjuic, where they've been playing for what, two years now?
I think they can't because I think it's booked out.
So because they can't play there, they will have to play in their mini stadium, if you want, where the women's team usually play, the mini stadium. Yeah, the Johan Cruyff stadium. They're 6,000 seaters, so nowhere near as much as the company, obviously, but also Montjuic. For this game against Valencia, that will feel very much like a training ground game because it will feel like a training ground atmosphere, a bit like when Real Madrid were playing at the training ground as well during COVID. They're more worried even about the PSG game in the Champions League, which obviously comes very soon. And in UEFA rules, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to have played already a game before playing a Champions League game in your stadium. So they won't be able to go straight into the PSG game at the Camp Nou, at the new Camp Nou. So this is a bit of a headache again.
If they got no organized, they could have played this game in Miami.
Yeah. The Premier League and Manchester City have settled their dispute over associated party transaction, or APT. Gab, what does this mean?
All right. This is super complicated. I think super boring to most people, but in a nutshell, what it means is they'll stop paying lawyers' fees for a while because they'll stop suing each other. It means for Manchester, both sides are spinning this as a victory. Manchester City is saying, aha, we can now push the Etihad deal through. And the Premier League says, aha, look, our APT rules are valid in principle anyway. Other upshot of this, interest-free loans, some clubs that benefit from interest-free loans from owners, they'll be in place still as well. So I guess that's good.
So what? Nothing has changed, basically.
Pretty much. They're going to have to rewrite rules at some point.
Breaking news, Gab, as we're recording the show, we've just learned that the FA have just charged Chelsea with 74 accounts related to what, and what is this all about?
So these are charges relating to irregularities in transfers and transfer reporting and accounting for those transfers and dealings with intermediaries. Now, it appears to me, and this is just breaking, we only have the statement, and we'll delve into this further on our next show, no doubt, as more things become clear. But this seems to be all stemmed from the Abramovich era. And I think this is basically what Chelsea's current owners, Clearlake and Todd Bowley, what they self-reported to UEFA after they took over the club and did their due diligence. Of course, they ended up reaching a settlement with UEFA. I would assume they would do the same with the Football Association.
Kasper Schulman is the new Bayer Leverkusen boss. Gab, we mentioned it very briefly on Monday where he sounded likely. Sensible choice. Do you like that choice?
I think so. Obviously, he was the Denmark coach for a while, has experiences before. His previous experience in the Bundesliga, not great, obviously at Mainz, but very bad at Mainz. But he's grown since then. I think what you need is a calming influence, which obviously Ten Hag, not it. And also somebody who can work with what's there. And the transfer window's closed. These are players that Ten Hag either brought in or did not bring in, depending who you believe. And he can work with them. Does he get you excited? No, he's Danish. Very few Danish things are exciting other than maybe Noma and the Schmeichel family.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
Something Danish that excites you.
Other Copenhagen? It's a lovely, lovely city, Copenhagen.
Says the guy from Paris. Come on.
There's levels. I didn't say it was better than Paris. I was saying it's a lovely city.
The Ballon d'Or winner has been decided, Jules. The votes are in. Now, unfortunately, though, we can't tell you who it is because we don't actually know. Only 3 or 4 people know.
Yeah, that's right.
One of them is our boy Vincent Garcia, who loves this whole business with the I know, but you don't, blah, blah, blah. You know how much I care about this, so I will let you explain the procedure. The ceremony is on September 22nd.
Yeah, that's right.
When
so it's very
I'm
soon.
so happy. I will be here.
Yeah.
But actually, it's September 22nd in the evening, so I will be here on the next show, but we're going to have to discuss it. I hope there's a boycott or something.
So the September 22nd, which is a Monday night, if you were wondering, in Paris, will be the Ballon d'Or ceremony. All the votes have been casted. Is that what we say?
Have been cast.
Cast already.
Tabulated and counted as well.
Yes, exactly. So
and Vincent knows.
2 weeks ago, of course, people, those 3 people, as you mentioned, know. nothing has been said to the clubs, whether it's for the men's award or the women's award. So amongst the nominees, if you think that you can win it, you have to show up at the ceremony and wait to see if it's your name that comes out and it's been said. It's between two players, obviously, Lamine Yamal and Ousmane Dembele. I don't think Rafinha really has a chance, although he was probably Barcelona's best player, better than Lamine last season. But yeah, I'm very much hoping that it's Ousmane Dembele who lifts the Ballon d'Or on the 22nd.
The guy who was top scorer in La Liga also has no chance, yeah?
No, not him.
Sorry,
I mean, he
Kylian.
says it himself, Kylian, but yeah, not him.
But how does he know? He doesn't know. None of us know.
But
Only Vincent knows.
But I was at Rennes yesterday, in Paris and Rennes, and I know you don't care. And I know a lot of people, I know Craig Burley doesn't care about the Ballon d'Or, which is fair enough. I care because a lot of the players care. So if they care, we should care. That's my idea about it. But people at Rennes, where Ousmane Dembele obviously spent 5 years pretty much in the academy and then the first team, care a lot. And for a club like that, which is a big club in France, with one of the best academies in Europe, for them to have produced a Ballon d'Or winner would be something very special. And being there yesterday pretty much all day and talking to a lot of people for an article that will come on the website, hopefully if Ousmane obviously wins it shows you. I know individual awards in a collective sports is strange. I get that. But I promise you, they were so excited just at the idea of one of the boys that they saw growing up in their club might become the best player in the world, might be kind of voted really, because this is what it is, was very special to them. So I hope that they're happy on the 22nd of September.
Obviously, we know what happened last year. Everybody assumed Vinicius was going to win it. And then there was, and then somehow, weirdly, because I realize only 3 or 4 people need it. So obviously Vincent knows because he's the big boss. I'm assuming people vote electronically somehow. So I'm assuming there's an IT guy and a nerd at least who knows. I don't know that anybody else would know. I'm pretty sure Vincent doesn't sit there and count the votes up himself. Maybe he does, right? But obviously there was a leak before. In years past when we were kids, we always knew because France Football would go and they'd interview the guy the week before and stuff and you'd see him show up, right? It would be cool if they went and they interviewed like 5 different people. Use that as an excuse and so you wouldn't know. But anyway, do you think there's going to be a leak? And if, let's say hypothetically, the leak is that Yamal has won it, or the leak is that Dembele has won it, do you think Laporta is going to be like, right, that's it, we're being disrespected, none of us go? Or Paris, same thing with Paris Saint-Germain. Let's not jump on the metro and go to the award.
The thing is, Barca can win it with the women, obviously, because there's a big chance. It could be Alessia Russo or Marina Caldente, but it could
Real
also
Madrid could have won it with the coach last year, and I think did win it with the coach, by the way. And they didn't bother showing up.
Okay, Aita Bonmati is going. So whether Laporta wants to stay in Barcelona, he can, but he will still have a private jet taking at least Aitana Bonmati to the Ballon d'Or ceremony, where she has a chance of winning again for the 3rd year in a row. But the closest you will get to the September 22nd date, obviously, the more people will know. They have to. That's how Real Madrid found out last year, as they were almost boarding the flight, that it was not Vinicius the afternoon of the ceremony.
I'm not 100% clear on why that is. And I actually wouldn't be surprised, given what happened last year, if Vincent doesn't tighten the screws even more. Because you can prepare highlight packages for everyone, right? It's not that part's not that difficult. I think what screwed things up terribly last year is the number of people, some of them before the deadline of the vote. I mean, we both know Ballon d'Or voters.
The
number of people who said, that's it, Vini's won it. And I remember speaking to a colleague of mine who is Ballon d'Or voter. He says, like, that's funny. I haven't even sent my ballot in. Should I bother doing it? But anyway.
We'll see. Fenerbahce have a new boss too, Gab. It's Domenico Tedesco. Are you a bit surprised that they pick him to replace Mourinho?
Domenico Tedesco, the Italian guy who's actually German and whose last name means German, but was born in Italy. I am a little surprised because obviously, he took over Belgium. That was his most recent stint. And things didn't quite work out. I think he was accused of being kind of too defensive. But prior to that, he was at Leipzig, which things didn't work out there. It does show, I think, a bit of continuity in terms of being a little bit more results focused, which obviously they had with Mourinho, or they hoped they had with Mourinho domestically. So good luck to him.
And I mean, I thought they wanted like more spectacular football. Isn't that what the president said to
I think what
justify
he-
the sacking of Mourinho?
I think the president,
Yeah, the
Ali
president.
Koch, who I've mentioned more times than I thought I ever would in the last couple of weeks, but I think what he said actually was, we want to play defensive. We understand, it's not the Benfica result. We want to do that in Europe. Domestically, we should be destroying teams
Yeah.
and not really being in peril. And I think that implies more control than what Mourinho necessarily had,
Okay.
rather than just more sort of
Because this
attacking.
is not going to be sexy football. I just hope Fenerbahce fans, it's not going to be.
Yeah, it depends what turns you on. There's different
True.
strokes for different folks,
Still.
Christian Eriksen has a new club.
Yes.
He reportedly snubbed Wrexham. How dare
Nice,
he?
lad.
For the glamour of
A
Wolfsburg.
lovely city.
I guess he drives Vida. I don't know. Jules, what do you make of this?
I guess it's a bit late because they just assessed the fact that they needed somebody like him, a kind of playmaker time. He's
To do what?
obviously-
To finish mid-table and bore everybody
I mean,
again?
yeah, I'm not really sure, but he still wants to play. This is a decent team, good level in the Bundesliga.
Why didn't he go join his friend Casper? We were making our list earlier of favorite Danish Danish things that excite us. Christian Eriksen is exciting.
Yeah, I know, but it's a better level than.
Bayer Leverkusen?
No,
I meant join his friend Casper at Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant. Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant Kasper Schmeichel. So I was thinking Celtic.
Oh God!
I mean, no, come on. He can play for Wolfsburg. He can't really play for Bayer Leverkusen at his age, and he's played hardly any football last year, right? Apart from with the national team. So I don't know. I want to see this. He doesn't really have the legs anymore. Well, he never really had them. So I'm not sure if the Bundesliga is right for him now at his age. But let's see. I'm just excited for him.
He's one of the good guys. We agree.
Exactly.
Yeah?
He's a lovely guy. Australia's A-League will be down to just 13 clubs in 2026, Gab, as Western United dropped out for at least a year. What's going on?
Yeah. So basically, they essentially went bankrupt. They became insolvent. Another group was going to come in and buy them out, but I guess they didn't get the money over the line in time. So they're kind of frozen for a year, and they may come back in a year's time. There's another team that's joining the league in 2026. I don't know. I go back to this. In Australia, they decided to adopt kind of a franchise model like an MLS.
Yeah.
I don't know that's obviously there's a lot of people in the US that don't like it, that don't think it's good, that don't think it's right for the development of football. I don't know that the A-League today had the relevance that it even had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know if promotion relegation necessarily fixes everything, but clearly if teams can't stay solvent in the way they run, you need to look at this. And a country the size of Australia, maybe they should have more than 13 clubs. Again, there's nothing wrong kicking it down a notch, saying fewer superstars. Let's just grow at our own pace. Let's have promotion relegation. We don't need to be fully professional and pretend we're a little Premier League or a little MLS.
That's true.
A little MLS more like in this case.
Alexis Sanchez is back. He's joined Sevilla. Gab, does he have anything left in the tank, do you think?
I mean, he can bring his experience, his smile, his personality.
Lamine Yamal mentioned him as one of the players you like to watch or something like that.
Yeah. Was Lamine Yamal even born when Alexis Sanchez was at Barcelona?
Surely not.
And
you wouldn't have seen him much last season because he didn't play that much either.
No, he 434 minutes for Udinese last year, 6 starts. He's 37 in December. Sevilla are in a very, very bad place financially. The club with that weirdo kind of internal father and son feud and all the other stuff that's going on. He's obviously, I'm assuming they're not paying him a lot of money. He's there to contribute. I always root. He's the original Nino Maravilla. So of course I will always be
want him
Alexis
to do
Sanchez
well,
fan.
of course. We'll be watching.
A court in London has heard how Dutch legend Edgar Davids had some 200,000 euros worth of modern art stolen by his friend who was house sitting for him.
Yeah, I mean, this is a strange story. Also because everything was stolen. Do you think that Edgar Davids would not notice that things have been stolen and would not? It'd be quite easy for him that obviously the house sitter is the one that you suspect the first.
Yeah, in Edgar Davids' defense here, to make it seem like he's not just entirely clueless, so he bought all this art. He had a house somewhere north of central London in the countryside, near
yeah.
where you live.
Yeah, exactly.
Presumably.
Yeah.
And it was a big house, and obviously he filled it with this modern art that he bought. And then he's like, yeah, you know what? Like, I want to live in central London. You know, I'm a swinging guy, the excitement,
Very
the bright
much
lights.
so.
So he gets a house in central London. In the meantime, he lets his friend live in and kind of house sit for him in the big house. And then what she did, she took a bunch of works of art and she didn't even sell them on the second market. She sent them, she pawned them at pawn shops, took the money. And obviously when she didn't then get them back, the pawn shop owner sold them. He's recovered some of his art, not all of his art. This to me suggests that Edgar Davids presumably, and in the meantime, she was sitting, when Edgar Davids was like, hey, where's my stuff? She's like, oh yeah, don't worry, Edgar. It's in storage. I put it all in storage for you. I'm guessing he's probably not an art lover and this is more for investment because, you know, buying art, if you can't look at it, it's kind of silly. Anyway, it looks like he's going to recover it, but some of this stuff has gone on. It's been sold by the pawn shop, by the pawnbrokers to other people. So I don't know if he's going to have to buy it back. I don't know how that works because these guys weren't knowingly selling stolen art, were they? Remember Ivan Toney? I had forgotten all about him. Then I remembered, it's the guy who gambles and then gets other accounts and then whatever. Let's not go there. I do remember him. He's at Al Ahly now. And of course, Al Ahly won the Asian Champions League.
Yes.
And he reckons the Saudi Pro League is on a par with the Premier League.
Yeah. He said that his team would be like finishing around the top 4 in the Premier League, which for me, who watch a lot of Saudi football,
more than I do,
is obviously not true. We all know that they've got good players. They've got Mathieu Jasler as a coach. They have a good setup there, but no. And there's the even the rhythm of games and the intensity of games over there. And it's just not a criticism of the Saudi league. It's just the way it is. I can't compare to not even just the Premier League, but the big European 5 leagues anyway.
Well, I think also the bad teams in Saudi Arabia are really bad. And I think probably worse than the bad teams in the Premier League as well. And also they don't have, yes, they play in the Asian Champions League, but until the knockouts, they play the Muppet Show. So there's many reasons not to go there. I just wonder. I
guess you have to put your league, like Cristiano does the same. A few of the players who play in Saudi, you have to do it, right? You have to say that.
I blame the people who asked them the question, though. Maybe. This comparing leagues. It's kind of, just say, how are you finding there, whatever. Tell me about it. Tell me about the Asian Champions League. You don't have to get people to rank because it becomes a lose-lose for him, right?
Yeah. Tottenham boss, Thomas Frank, would like to see one timeout per half. Gab, do you like this?
No, I don't. I can see why he would like it because he's a very tactical manager and he can spot things and go and make adjustments. I mean, we effectively have this kind of in August, September, and with the water breaks, right? That's essentially what it is. From a fan's perspective, no, because when do you call timeouts? We're both basketball fans, right? You call timeouts to break the other team's momentum, right? So when things are, and emerging from a timeout, timeouts are, when they make tactical adjustments, they're almost always defensive adjustments. So yes, it would help more tactical managers, more defensive teams. It would take steam out of the game. And of course goes against, 160 years of football.
Yeah, I don't like this idea.
Yeah, so, but I can see how it would benefit him. And so, Thomas, I have no problem with you saying this. It would help you and your team and you're doing your job. But yeah, for the rest of us, no.